Much of my life I felt very rushed. And as many of you might know, I had a pretty profound experience about 8 years ago with our daughter Olivia, where I was physically not allowed to rush. And I think it was during that time when I became most clear on how we can still rush even when we're not moving on the outside. And that really rushing has nothing to do, maybe, with how we're moving on the outside. That someone who's sprinting on the outside may still not be rushed. They might just be fast. And someone who is slow on the outside may be laying on the couch all day, every day, could still be extremely rushed. Because the rushing comes from an inner state, not the outer. And during that time with our daughter, where I wasn't able to do nearly as much as I was able to do before, and we were getting no sleep, and so just physically, like I just didn't have it, and would spend long hours holding Olivia, I felt the urge to rush more than I've ever felt it before. And even after she passed, this clarified more. Because now I was able to move physically again. I got a night of sleep for the first time in over a year, and I had all this energy, and especially after the funeral and all the logistics, and the calls stopped coming in and people stopped dropping by, and the urge to rushed back in, probably stronger than I've ever felt it to that point. And I was aware that even though I could move more freely on the outside, this issue of rushing was more of an internal one. And I did begin to move around. It took a long time, a lot longer than I expected, to be able to move around, just to do normal things. And I would say that in a lot of ways it's still harder than it was before on a physical level. I still feel tired, and it's been 8 years. Physically tired. But I've moved around a lot since we actually literally moved back to the Chicago area, and have been able to travel and play music at places across the country, and start to do things again. Work a lot of hours sometimes, and through all of that, this idea of rushing, this option of rushing or not rushing, has been clarified. And I can feel now the lesson that I learned during Libby's life really playing out. And I'm going to invite you to feel it too. While I couldn't move my body, the contrast between the rushing inside and the not rushing outside became, like I said, very clear. So I just want to take a minute together and explore that, specifically for this day, like for today. Separating the rushing on the outside with the rushing on the inside, and maybe even calling them different things. Rushing on the inside and just pace on the outside. So just tune in for a minute with me. We'll do it together. To the inside. So just pay attention to your breathing without changing anything. just notice the pace of what's happening inside your body. Outside right now, you're sitting still enough at least to be watching a video, but inside you could be going very, very fast. Tune into your thoughts. Are they just chaotic? Are you thinking about what I'm saying right now? Are you thinking about what you're seeing right now, what you're sensing in this moment? Or are your thoughts in the past or in the future or someplace else? Without changing, just notice. And if they are in the future or the past or someplace else, tune into what your senses are receiving right now from the present moment. It sounds so simple, and to be honest, I'm really turned off, which might be ironic, but I'm really turned off by meditation type language. I'm turned off by spiritual language a lot of times. I'm much more interested in science, which makes me sound a little different than I am, but I'm interested in what is. I don't care about what people think about what is. I don't even care about what I think about what is. I'm interested in what is. So sometimes it's nice, maybe all the time it's nice, to tune into what our senses are actually picking up. Not just our basic senses. And I very much acknowledge that there's other senses, but for now. So for example, right now, I keep registering that there's a beautiful sound of water trickling in the neighbor's little pond. And that's the backdrop for this time for me. Tune into what you hear. Tune into what you see. Again, it feels so, it can to some of us feel so silly and trivial. And yet, what happens to your worry? I'm going to go off on a little bit of a rant here, but it's good, I think. What happens to your worry when you tune in to what is? You'll notice that the more that you tune in to things you're actually seeing, or hearing, or touching, feeling, or tasting, smelling, the more you tune into those, the more you let go of your thoughts about those things themselves, or about your life, or about your problems. The more that you tune into what your senses are actually picking up, eventually you just don't have any fingers left to grab onto all of those problems in your life. And if someone were to ask you right now, where are those problems? You can't even point to them. I'm ranting at myself right now, but maybe also some of this resonates for you. So where are your problems? And the more that you start to lose touch with your basic senses, the more that you start to lose touch with what is in this moment. You lose touch with your presence. And I believe you lose touch with eternity, which isn't in the future or the past. It goes down, down into the depths of every single moment. And in the next moment, that eternity doesn't exist. It's a new eternity, infinite eternities in every moment. We're sitting much of our lives at the very surface of infinitely deep waters. And we're focusing on ripples at the surface and imagining that that is the ocean, and it is not the ocean. So I'm telling you right now that it's safe for you to let go of your worries in this moment and let yourself tune in and even enjoy the basic senses. And to start to realize the truth that that is living and the other is not. I'm inviting you and inviting myself to live. And that requires a lot of letting go. That was the big lesson from my daughter Olivia, who didn't have the capacity to worry. We labeled her as disabled, severely disabled. We labeled her as terminal. Yet she was existing in the infinite deep ocean that most of us never experience, or very rarely experience. And usually when we do, it's as a result of something that we didn't want to happen. We're plunged down for just a moment against our will into real life. But I'm here to tell you that it doesn't take tragedy. It doesn't take tragedy. It can be a choice. And it can be a wonderful experience choosing it. But it requires letting go of our fear, letting go of our worry, letting go of the future, letting go of the past, letting go of our thoughts about whatever, and letting go of others' thoughts about us or whatever. If you can do that letting go, you will look around and you will find yourself in the deep, deep ocean, living, alive. Who am I, Nathan, to tell you this? I'm just a messenger, and I was fortunate enough to be plunged in for a long enough period of time by a little girl who knew how to live. And maybe that combined with just my personality, I really like to learn, and I'm fascinated by things that are. And so I'm just conveying what I found. And by the way, not to toot my own horn at all, but because I'm so fascinated, I spend at least an hour a day, if not the whole day sometimes, but an hour specifically on a walk, continuing that exploration. This fascinates me, and it's calling me. And I believe that that invitation didn't originate with Olivia, and it's not originating with me. I think life itself, I think that this is an invitation from life to me and to you to be alive, to live. And I think I'll just close by saying it's really, 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 really scary to be in deep water. Feels like you're gonna die. It's not hard, it's just scary. And that makes it feel hard. But the effort really comes from the life we try to build on the surface of the ocean. That gets to be pretty heavy, and eventually it won't float anymore. It all falls apart. But it doesn't have to fall apart. We can choose to step off. Don't rush to get up now. You've really been through it this time around. I know you wanna run, just to feel it, to feel it, just to know that you're still here. Well, it's like a movie all around, speeding up and up, but you're only slowing down. You'll never catch up now. No, let it go till the pain catches you for a moment, here and now. You're not saving anyone. You're not saving anyone. You're not saving anyone. You're not saving anyone. So don't rush to get up. She's not going anywhere, and you're not saving anyone. Oh, come back to where you are. Oh, it might hurt like hell, burn like coals, but at least right here we know who we are. You're not saving anyone. You're not saving anyone. You're not saving anyone. You're not saving anyone. So don't rush to get up. Don't rush to get up. Don't rush to get